Hello, everyone, and welcome to Herosner Podcast Season 2, Episode 12, live from the Ararat-Eskijian Museum in Mission Hills, California. Look at this beautiful place. We are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. It is Thursday, April 7th, 2022. Happy Thursday to everyone. I'm your host, Vic and as always, I'm joined by my talented co-host, Mr. Mike Balyan, where we discuss our great Armenian history, covering different people, eras, and topics. We hope you are all having a wonderful Thursday evening, and we thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. Our guest today is Heratch Kozibeyokian, back by popular demand, and our topic today is the Orphan Carpet. How are you, gentlemen?
Great. Good evening.
Welcome to the show again.
And great to be back again, and thank you for the re-invitation.
Well, thank you for helping us organize this. I mean, we are sitting at this amazing museum, and I'm sure you guys can see there's so many ancient, amazing artifacts in here, and it is we are blessed to be able to be here and do this live from this beautiful place. We encourage everybody who lives in California or Southern California to come visit here. If you know where the Ararat home is, it's basically there. It's under a church, right?
Yes.
And there's so many ancient things here.
It's a treasure trove.
Yeah. So
this place is awesome.
Thank you for everyone who's joining us live. We appreciate it. And Heratch, before we start, I mean, obviously, you know, anybody who watched the first one that we did with you, they know about you. But whoever might be a new guest to the show, can you give us a quick bio about yourself? Just what you do, you know, just a quick smidget, something about you, so people know who you are.
For short, I mean, migrated in 1977 to U.S. from Beirut, Lebanon. I've been all my life in the real rug business. I'm currently the president of Armenian Rug Society.
Yeah.
I'm an avid collector, and I devoted almost my life to Armenian woven culture. And I dug myself into the history of Armenian weaving tradition and all that. That's who I am, basically. That's what people know me for. Before we start, I want to thank Maggie Gorshin, really.
Yes.
Maggie is an amazing woman. She practically founded this museum. This was like a warehouse when she took over many years ago.
Yeah.
She spends her life here. She, this is her life. Not only her, now her daughters are involved. Her husband is involved. She puts her life in this, and I really commend her. There aren't too many people that are dedicated as she is when it comes to Armenian relics, about Armenian history and who we are and so forth, so on. So thank you, Maggie.
Maggie, if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you come into the camera shot?
Just say hi, please.
Just come to the mic right here. Just say hello to everyone. Guys, this is Maggie.
Hello, everyone.
She's the one who runs this place. She's an amazing woman. So thank you so much for allowing us to do this.
Thank you so much.
And my good friend Heratch is in good hands here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie Jan. Appreciate
And
it.
she did make an exception. Usually there are no events here. Usually the events are upstairs where the chapel is. But she made an exception, and I'm grateful.
We are thrilled.
We're grateful.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Well,
We should take the show on the road more often.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Boston's next, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
from
yeah,
there
yeah, no
we're going to
problem.
New York. So
you want to do Boston?
Oh
really?
yeah, of course.
I'll connect you to
Well,
Jason.
we talked about this earlier. We want to do Boston, and then from Boston we want to go to New York.
You're really not kidding?
No,
Boston?
I'm not joking. No,
All right.
Okay. I tell you, we're going to be talking about Boston.
we're doing a Herosner tour. So
Okay. The Armenian Museum of America in Watertown, Boston.
yes, that's where I want to do it.
Did you talk to anybody?
No, not yet. I'm just saying we discussed
like
it
fun.
earlier.
Okay.
So, but we want to do something like
I
that.
will
so.
talk to the director, Jason, so he can
Yeah,
make sure we do that.
I think Jason emailed us. I'm not sure. Somebody from the Armenian Museum Boston emailed us about it. But anyways, this stuff we'll discuss later. Everyone, are you guys enjoying this view? I mean, how beautiful is this? I wish I could zoom in and show you guys that everything is here. But I encourage everyone to bring your kids, bring them here, let them see the history that we have. There are stuff. How
must.
old does it go back? They have stuff here from what? Like the Urartu? Urartu. They have
Urartian.
artifacts from Urartu.
Coins, Copperware.
Coins.
Textiles, books,
Coins.
Yeah.
dresses.
Tigran the Great coin is right in
Yes,
there. So,
yes.
So,
It's awesome.
yeah, and everything.
so today's
Okay, what are we doing tonight?
just
right.
hanging out, just chatting. you know,
Okay.
Just but today's topic is gonna be the orphan carpet. But before we get into the orphan carpet, we want to kind of talk about a little bit prior to that. Let's say 19th century.
Okay.
The rugs.
Late
So,
19th century.
So let's cover that first, and then from there we'll get into the orphan rugs.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely, because one would think, how come all these orphan
Closer
rugs,
to the mic a little bit.
how come all these orphan rugs all of a sudden right after the genocide or right after the Hamidian massacres?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these girls, some of them, if not most, they already knew how to weave carpets from their parents. So there was that tradition already.
Yeah.
Where was that tradition? Well, 19th century was a turning point when the West was just started using those Oriental rugs in from the beginning to mid and late Victorian era. Oriental carpets in general were very famous. People wanted, the demand was high. And most of those carpets were being shipped from Smyrna, from Izmir. They were going on ships in the cargo and heading either to Europe or to United States. So the demand was high. At that time, English company, they saw an opportunity in this. They want to create this conglomerate. So they created a company called the Oriental Carpet Manufacturers Company. It was huge. They funded it millions of dollars. It was so big that they even started issuing stocks and bonds. And in Turkey, they started doing the research who were the major manufacturers, and they made a deal with them. They became a partner. They basically monopolized the carpet industry,
which was fairly popular back in those days.
Of course,
with
yeah.
many big conglomerates, right?
Yeah.
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 I mean, we all know some stories.
So one of the major producers was Spartalian family. Spartalian family, they were known for their, if you put that next
The
slide, Vic, that's the list of the Oriental carpet manufacturers. The capital as LSTG 400,000 at that time, right? Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 companies that joined together. The next one, that's the that's where, well, this map actually shows the where the majority of Armenians were at that time in 19th century. And this is the Oriental carpet manufacturers, the list. Now, Andrea and Company in Smyrna were the distributors. The P.A.J. Baker in London, they were the financiers. There were a few others, but the main company who really was famous, having thousands of looms, having all these carpets to be woven, was the Spartalian family.
Yeah.
But Turks actually, they named them Spartali.
They removed.
Yeah. So at that time, 97% from the mid-19th century all the way to 1920s, 1930s, 97% of carpets that was being exported from Turkey were woven by the Spartalian family.
Yeah. Now, how long had this family been involved prior to this? Let's call it monopolization. Were they involved in rug making? And
they were already.
Yeah.
They were already. They started.
The mic. Try to speak into the mic. People are having a little bit of a hard time.
Is this dropping? Okay. Is this better? It's dropping.
Here, maybe make it. It's okay.
I think it's
better. Better.
Yeah, just point it up.
Yeah.
Just try to. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, just talk
I get
into
carried away
No, it's
sometimes.
fine. It's just people might be having a hard time with hearing. So.
The Spartalian family were several generations. They were already doing it.
Yeah.
But by the time in 1942, when they joined this, Oriental carpet manufacturers, they were already one of the biggest. That's why they were chosen.
Big time.
Yeah. So also in the end of 19th century, Sultan Hamid was building his fortress, his castle, which is the Dolmabahçe. The Dolmabahçe in Turkish means stuffed garden. Basically, they were bringing boulders and other dirt to fill the sea at the beach,
Yeah.
so he could build his castle. And during about that time, silk was very famous. They needed this to produce also silk, and Hagop Amasyan and Kevork Torkomian were very first sericulture sericulture experts, let's say. Now, if you want to go to the next slides, it will show some photos from that era. Armenian girls weaving carpets. These were from Spartalian family, and that picture that you have on there, they're showing that not only the weavers were Armenian, there were many merchants also. At that time, a majority of carpet dealers in the end of 19th century, the majority, I would say 90+% of dealers in the United States were Armenians.
Wow.
Carpet dealers. Because they started by bringing them in, and they started selling here. Eventually, they opened stores in Manhattan and so on.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the earliest stores was the uncle of Dr. Deranian in Worcester, Massachusetts. We're going to be talking about Dr. Deranian later.
Okay.
Which he from his uncle's shop he got introduced to carpet and all that, and that's how he followed to the orphan rug. Anyway, so if you go to the next photo, this is Georg Torkomian. Georg Torkomian was the founder of the Sericulture Institute in Istanbul. For 35 years, he was the director of that place. During his time, from up until 1922, he was the director. He graduated 2,023 students, from which 77% were Armenian men and women. The rest were Greeks, Jews, and some Turks. He produced 18 million kilos of silk during that time. 18 million kilos silk. When he left his job, he settled in Istanbul. That was in 1922. By that time, he was already old. And he was receiving about 150 to 200 gold coins, gold liras a month. I mean, that was extremely high. He was getting paid really, really well. The next picture, if you change that slide, shows you this institute. And he is actually in the middle, and most of those were his students.
And you said that a lot of the students here, I mean, not maybe particularly this picture, but were more than majority were Armenians.
It's recorded. Graduates.
Now, what year is this?
This is most probably turn of the century.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it lasted until
So it's pre-genocide.
Yeah, that's pre-genocide.
Okay.
And from this institute, from that silk, later on, Sultan's rugs were being woven. So imagine. And the next picture, if you go, that will show you the Dolmabahçe. That's the Dolmabahçe.
Yeah.
Dolmabahçe was also, by the way, built by Armenian architects, the Balyan brothers.
Not related to me, guys. Or I don't know, maybe.
Maybe, how do you know?
Possible.
The next photo will show you that's the gravesite of Balyan brothers. And most of those silk rugs were woven predominantly by Armenian women, Armenian girls that were brought to Istanbul from Kayseri, Gesaria, mainly,
Yeah.
and Sebastia, mainly, because silk weaving is totally different than the wool weaving technique.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely different. So what happened at that time? There was a small, about 40 kilometers off of Istanbul. There is a small village on the shore, mainly Greek residents. The village was called Hereke. It was named after Heracles, the Greek Heracles, because Heracles was buried there. The Greek population mainly was involved in fishing industry.
Yeah.
They used to do fishing. And for some reason, for 3 years, they cannot catch fish. The fish was depleted. And people get poor, they start robbing each other, crime rate start rising. The mayor goes to the Sultan, says, Sultan, you gotta help my village because we cannot do anything else. At that time, it coincides that Sultan wanted to start weaving the carpets for his Dolmabahçe Palace.
Okay.
He sends scouts all over Anatolia to find the best carpet weaving masters, to bring them there, to recruit them, and bring them to Hereke to teach the women how to weave. So set up factories and start weaving the carpets for the Dolmabahçe Palace.
Yeah.
That way, he could have his carpets, his silk carpets. Also, he would assist the population economically.
Yeah.
So there were three major master weavers from Kayseri. One of them was Hagop Kapudjian. The other one was Zareh Penyamin, and Tosunyan. He brings them to Hereke, and he hires them. The Sultan hires them. He says, whatever it takes, you're going to start producing these silk rugs for my palace. If you go to the next photo, Vic, that will show you, actually this is, this is Kumkapu. This is where all those Armenian girls settled when they came.
Now,
Kumkapu.
I want another question I want to ask
Yeah.
you is, you said most of them were women. What style were they weaving? Was there a specific style of rugs?
Yeah, the styles were chosen and designed by those master weavers, by Hagop Kapudjian, by Zareh Penyamin. They were the royal court designers for those carpets.
And
but their designs was much more in Islamic, floral and fauna theme rather than Armenian. The patterns were not really
none of the
Armenians.
symbolism was there.
No.
No.
Well, they
Not
integrated.
for
By the way, Hagop was smart. Hagop integrated Armenian dragons into the Islamic theme rugs. Also, in very, very small corner places, he also integrated his signature in Armenian. On the rugs that Sultan would stand and pray. He was something else. If you go to the next photo, that's Hagop. They also called him Shishman Hagop, Fat Hagop. he was, he was something else.
Ağaya.
Yeah, Hagop was so he had an authority. Nobody could touch him.
Yeah, he looks like a guy you don't want to mess with.
And in 1918, when Armenia became independent, the first thing he did in Kumkapu, he established the Armenian Boy Scouts Club.
Really?
Hominid men. Go to the next picture.
All right. Huh.
That's the Boy Scouts of Kumkapu in 1918. Can you imagine?
So that's where it got its start from, more or less. Hominid men. Not really hominid men, but let's say the idea of
the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
The Boy Scouts. Yeah. Anyway, so he had really authority. He was very, very much respected, but his design was so much loved by Sultan. His and Zare Penyamin's. Now, if you go to the next slide, that's one of Hagop's. Look at that. You see what he did? He took that prayer, he flipped it upside down, and he put the tricolor, the Armenian tricolor there. You see that?
Yeah, I did.
And anyway, and if you go below, I don't know if you can enlarge. You can see.
I can't enlarge
You
it.
can see. Okay, you can see the dragons. How he integrated the dragons in them. You can also go to the next one. That's also totally diverse. Look at this, the beauty of this. All these were silk, and they were woven by Armenian girls. The next one was also Zare Penyamin. Zare Penyamin, that's Hagop's signature. By the way, you see what you're looking at is the cartoon.
Yeah, the pattern that.
Yeah,
The
the pattern
pattern.
that he
Now,
did with, yeah.
every little square you see there, now this is very much enlarged. This might be less than a quarter inch.
In the weaving.
In the weaving, that's how small it is. You see, every square in that graph
crazy.
paper, every square is one hand-tied knot. One hand-tied knot. And those rugs had about 280 knots per square inch. Figure out how small that
Wow.
signature is.
Per square inch. Wow.
Yeah. So that's he also, by the way, he also signed in Latin alphabet, not only Armenian. Some of his rugs have the HK, only initials, and some of them Hagop. This is his handwriting. He was fluent in Armenian, and this letter was late after he went to after the massacres and all that. He went to France. Actually, he was really poor. He wrote a letter to Kalust Gulbenkian in Armenian. This is a copy of that letter. He wrote and asked Kalust Gulbenkian to give him work. And in France, he was doing repairs. Kalust Gulbenkian Museum has some of his work. So he did repairs. And his last years was very poor.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Zare Penyamin. Now, if you go to the next photo, that's Zare. Zare Penyamin's style was more Kufic style. Now, if you look at the below his picture, right below his photo,
Yeah, these images down here.
that's actually Arabic writing in a Kufic style. In Arabic, that says Z-A-R and the soft H, Zare. You see how he worked that? That was his signature in the carpets. Same way. But he did sign in several ways also. Zare's style was much more refined. If you go to the next one, you can see that's Zare Benjamin.
Look at the work on that.
Zare was very, very meticulous, and he was how should I say? He would personally supervise the details of each rug. He was so perfectionist. And actually, some of their works for the last 20, 30 years in major auction houses, they were selling over $40,000, $50,000.
Wow.
Some of them were for $80,000. And they were small, by the way. They were like between 4 feet 6, 4 by 6 to 3 by 5, small ones, not too big ones. The next photo will show you the women, the girls, typically the silk workers. That's you see, that was made in Kumkapu. Now, what happened from those master carpet weavers, Hagop Kapudjian, while he was still in Anatolia, he would have students. One of his students was Haygaz Shirinyan. Haygaz Shirinyan becomes also a silk carpet producer, but eventually they moved to Istanbul. Haygaz's younger brother, Avak Shirinyan, continued the work. Haygaz retired maybe 30, 35 years ago. Haygaz's son is in U.S., in Dallas. He continues the business. But his Haygaz's younger brother, Avak, still continues, and he is the last one remaining who does still the Kumkapu style carpets, silk carpets, and for the past, I would say, at least 60 years or so, he's in his mid-80s by now. Avak Shirinyan probably is almost 80. Most of his carpets were custom made for Sultan of Brunei and princes and kings of the royal court in the Middle East. If you go to the next photo, that's Avak Shirinyan. That photo was in his shop in Istanbul. And the carpet behind him was halfway woven by Zare Benjamin. And Zare Benjamin passed away. All the silks and cartoons and the models and looms was purchased by Avak Shirinyan. And Avak Shirinyan continued what Zare has left on the loom. Avak Shirinyan in 1998, I got to know his daughter who lives here. And I said, I got to meet your father. The Shirinyan name is, by the way, very famous.
Oh, yeah, especially in Turkey. In Turkey.
In Turkey, in Europe, in US, those who know, they know.
Yeah.
I said, I have to, next time your father comes here, please, I have to meet him. When we met, by that time, Avak Shirinyan used to sign his carpets in Turkish. They used to sign it in Ottoman, but later he signed it in Latin words, but Turkish, with the same name I call him Shirinyan, but his registered name is Shirinoğlu. Turkified
yeah,
name,
Yeah,
Shirinoğlu.
yeah.
Turkified. And in 1998, when I met him, I said, come 2001, 3 years later, is the 1700 of Armenians accepting Christianity as a state religion. I said, all your life you've been weaving those Islamic rugs. Isn't it time for you to do a collection of Armenian rugs with Armenian prayers? He said, how can we do that?
Oh, wow.
What would I do with them? I would love to, but can you assist me? I said, sure. I'll design them for you. I'll help you in design, in Armenian carpet motifs and all that. So to make the long story short, for the next 3 years, from 1998 to 2001, we produced about 40 Armenian rugs. I also changed his signature from Turkish
I
to
know.
Armenian.
Yeah.
Until now, he signs in Armenian.
Wow.
His rugs.
Yeah.
If you go to the next one, there are
Before we go on, there's
Yeah.
a great question from Caroline, one of our audience
Okay.
members. She said, she asked the women, those experts who actually made the rugs, did any of the women accomplish any higher role than just being a regular worker? Thank you for the question, Caroline.
Carolyn, we don't have any records of women becoming to higher roles. They might have been, but we only follow what's recorded
Yeah.
and what we can prove. But I tell you, the carpet industry would be zero without the women.
Of course.
The main workhorse were girls and women.
The backbone.
Men, the backbone. They
Yeah.
were men and women. Men were usually the ones who did the heavy work, who set up the loom, who set up the foundation,
Yeah.
who built the looms, who did the clipping, who did the washing. Those were heavy. But tying the knots on silk were women. By the way, silk weaving is extremely difficult. One of the reasons is the girls cannot sit down more than 2 hours. They have to take at least an hour break to have their eyes rest, because silk reflects the light, just like looking at a mirror. Their eyes become red.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they have to rest. Therefore, they cannot work 8 or 10 hours
Yeah.
the way the wool is.
Yeah.
But women have more patience than men.
Of course.
So
of course.
they
And they tend to take pain better than men.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
So
proven.
anyway, I hope I answered. Unfortunately, we don't have any
Yeah.
designers, women designers at that time. Now we do. So coming back to Shirinyan, here is one example of the Armenian prayer rugs dedicated to the 1700th anniversary of the Armenians becoming Christians. And he often comes here. In fact, he's coming next month, I think.
Okay.
If there is a chance, maybe we can appear. But unfortunately, he doesn't speak any
Our
other
booking
language.
agent.
And he doesn't speak any other language than Turkish.
And Turkish.
So I
Yeah.
communicate with him Turkish. In Armenian, he only knows few songs, and he knows the Hayr-Mer, the prayer.
Well, it's plenty.
Yeah, one of
You know.
his works is in this museum, by the way. It's
I wish I could turn the camera around and
actually
and
it's
show
in the
everybody.
office. It's in the office. Anyway, maybe she can bring it. Is it? Would you bring that Shirinyan silk rug?
Show and tell
Let's
time.
show it. Let's show it.
Show and tell
Let's
time.
show it. That one was designed like a Khachkar, actually. It was a Khachkar design. So go to the next one. Yeah, whenever he's in LA, he always comes and sees me. That's in my studio. Here, this one. Which camera should I?
Here, actually give me a second. Let me.
This side.
Yes, there you
Yeah,
go.
there. Okay.
Yep.
See,
Can
that's-
everybody can see? Yeah, that's
Everybody
perfect
can
shot.
see,
Yeah.
Yeah. Here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. That's unfortunately, he is again. Shirinyan is the last master weaver. Some other time we'll talk more about him and his future ideas. He wanted to take this whole industry to Armenia. On the condition I moved to Armenia and set up a workshop, a studio,
Yeah.
where the girls can continue the tradition. He did go, and we arranged. We have few students that are very good silk workers, silk rug weavers, and I designed a dragon rug, classic 16th century Armenian dragon rug in a smaller version, which was brought here a few years ago when we did the Smithsonian Folk Life Festival, and we did a demonstration of that carpet weaving in here.
Yeah.
So, this is what basically was the scenery when during this time, simultaneously in 1886, actually it started 1882, the Hamidian massacres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this is happening at the same time, right?
Yeah.
During the Hamidian massacres, there were somewhere around 300,000 Armenians killed. And during that time, the first Armenian orphanages started coming to life, unfortunately.
No, I have a question. I know you have the answer to this. During that time, during the Hamidian massacres, pre-Hamidian massacres, we know that the Armenians were involved in all sorts of work. I know me and Vic have talked about it in previous episodes. You might have discussed it with us a little bit. What was the population, more or less? Do you have like an estimate number in Anatolia?
About 2 million.
Okay, wow.
About 2 million. If you refer to that first slide where I showed the
the map. Yeah.
I
mean, it's a large area.
That's approximate.
Yeah.
Approximate. But they were not scattered. They were concentrated
in certain areas.
In Mush, in Van, in various places. But there was a heavy concentration, and most of them were industrialists, by the way. There are records of, for example, the mass majority of almond producers were Armenians. The copper miners were Armenians. Bankers, Armenians. Maybe one day we'll do another show about the artists, for example.
Yeah.
The medicine, they were Armenians. Many things they were involved in. I'm sure there are records. So it roughly, they guesstimate around 2 million something around there. That's a lot.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. So,
And I've mentioned this many times before with other guests and other conversations we had. When it comes to the number, as human beings, we don't know how to comprehend that number.
No.
It's just impossible.
yeah.
It's so much.
Yeah.
You know. So
For that time, 2 million, if the genocide wasn't there, all this deportation wasn't there, just make your calculation.
Take a guess.
Oh, we would have been in
Take a
40 to
guess.
50 million Armenians across the
Probably.
world.
Yeah.
If not more. I mean, it would have been, if you think about it from there, if you calculate all the how generations multiply, we would have been 40 million plus, close to 50, if
Yeah.
not more, like I said.
Yeah.
So
Well, so Hamidian massacres, Hamidian Adana massacres starts creating these orphanages. The
Yeah.
orphanages were mainly established by missionaries. Well, why missionaries? Because during that time, there were missionaries from Europe and United States. They were there actually to try to preach Christianity to Turks. That was their main goal,
Yeah.
initial
Yeah.
goal. But they found that was very difficult. And they turned to Armenians, and the Armenians were
already Christian.
Christian, but they were not Protestant.
Yeah.
So they wanted to convert them. And Adana massacres starts, and they cannot sit idle. They start opening these orphanages. There's one of the orphanages, actually, there wasn't any building, there was no shelter. And they used grapevines, orchards. Under the grapevines, kids were sleeping. They used the grapes as a shelter. One of those missionaries was Dorinda Bowman. Now, if you go to the lab, I want to show you this map. There. Now, if you look at that map, every single cross was what you call
Like a missionary.
no.
No.
The stars were orphanages.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah. Wow.
This map was produced by Nearest Relief to show all the orphanages and the directions they moved afterwards.
So every star is an orphanage.
Every star was an orphanage. This
the
is
scale
by
of that.
1920s, by the way.
Yeah.
1920s, this was produced after the massacre.
Yeah, but I mean, see, the map doesn't do justice to the scale of,
Oh.
the
if you
land
look at
mass.
the, we're looking at dots. We're looking at tiny dots. But
yeah.
can you imagine?
But just the drawing of the land mass of that area is still not even accurate. So
Right.
imagine how large of an
Right.
area that is.
So the orphan rugs actually started during the Hamidian era, not after 1915.
So it's okay.
There we have samples of orphan rugs woven. The earliest recorded ones that we know was similar to the silk rugs that were produced by for the royal court by Hagop Kapujan and all that. And it was woven in Agin orphanage. You will see the rug later. There were carpet weaving workshops in Adana, in Mush, in almost every other orphanage. The girls were weaving carpets. But today we have only a handful of them. Some of them are here in the Eskijian Museum. Some of them are, there are actually 6 in American Armenian Museum in Watertown, Boston.
Which we'll be going to.
Yeah, hopefully. So if you go to the next one, that's another silk rug that was woven as the American flag and donated to the State Department. Unfortunately, we don't have We don't know where that rug is until today. We only have this announcement actually from New York Times published in 1905.
So there's no
says-
image of it whatsoever.
There's no image. We only have this record about it. We asked. We've been after it.
No clues.
No
still?
clues. Nobody
Really?
knows. Well, there's another thing about the silk rugs. Silk don't do well in humidity.
Yeah.
They get rotted. Wool can stand anything, but silk, as soon as it got humidity, it deteriorates. Most likely it got deteriorated and they just discarded it.
Oh.
But it was the American flag. How did they do that? I don't know. So still, this is a mystery. Where is that rug? Where is that flag? It was huge. It was 5 by 7.
Yeah. Now, I have a question. Like, as far as the children, the orphans, where did they move? Like, was it just, from the orphanages?
Well, what happened, Vic, during the from 1880s until 1915, they were just gathering wherever they can. That's why we have all these orphanages in various places in Anatolia.
Yeah.
But when genocide came, they had to take them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. But before that, I want to show you a few images of pre-genocide orphan carpets. If
Okay.
you go to the next photos, this is Adana, 1919. Now, how come in Adana we have an orphanage in 1919 after genocide? But
I mean, there wouldn't be any.
but there was. See, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
Because what happened, they rescued the children first during the genocide, but after the genocide, 1918 or so, there was a French mandate, and everybody went back
Yeah.
to Turkey.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking
when-
about during the French invasion.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
When French was
Adana,
going to give,
Antep, all those places.
they were going to be the protectorate, right?
It was Cilicia. Yeah.
It was Cilicia.
Yeah.
They moved back, and then 1920s, when the French moved out,
That was
British.
and the British, they had
Yeah.
to flee.
it.
Yeah.
They couldn't stay there.
Yeah,
So
that was the last of.
they were going back and forth. Not only the orphans, also the people.
Regular.
Yeah.
Everyone that was already
No,
there.
If you go back and if you keep going, I will show you various images of that's Adana also, by the way.
Adana. Okay.
The next one, that's the Agin rug. That's the earliest silk prayer rug, which is housed in American Armenian Museum in Watertown. They have 6 orphan rugs. Some of them are from Ghazir. And there is one actually that was woven in Alexandra Ball at that time, today's Gyumri. Go to the next one. This one is Hajin Orphanage. Now, it only says orphanage. No, excuse me, not Hajin. This is the Anteb. We know it doesn't say Anteb anywhere, but there are couple others that also say Anteb Orphanage, but experts from the pattern and the weave, they know that it's Anteb.
Okay.
So
Just from the style of it.
just from the style, the colors, the weave technique. The next one is Mush.
Man, the detail.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just get lost looking at that.
These are all
I keep trying to look
inscribed,
for
by
the
the way.
pat-
They
the-
have
how the patterns
now,
work.
These were saved because they were dedicatory. They were woven for a specific person.
Mm-hmm.
This one was donated to Carlos Gulbenkian because also the AGBU was assisting the orphans.
It's.
So much work on that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wish we could zoom in. Unfortunately, this doesn't allow us. But yeah, the
So-
detail of it.
At that time, this is pre.
Now, you said this is in Boston as well. This road?
No, this one is in. I believe this one is in Carlos Gulbenkian Museum in Portugal. So, at that time, Hajin. Okay, I have to go back to U.S. There was a Mennonite girl at the age of 16. Her name was Dorinda Bowman. She was hearing about the massacres in Hajin, Adana, in Anatolia, and she wanted to go and assist the children, assist the orphans. They wouldn't allow her. They said, "You're too young, 16-year-old. What the hell are you going to go do there?" So she was so committed. She said, "If you're not going to allow me, I'm going to run away." So her older sister accompanies her. They go to Hajin. They start this orphanage. In Hajin orphanage, they teach the kids how to weave. Most of them, most of the girls, they already knew, I assume, to weave carpets. But their resources was so limited. They didn't have those fancy colors, the dyes. So they used the local herbs, the local vegetation for whatever colors they could get. And with those limited colors, also the wool, they separated the natural colors of the sheep, the brown, the gray, the black, the white. By separating those, spinning those, they started weaving carpets that looked pretty nice, but very limited resources. One day, she wakes up, she opens the door, there's this orphan child sleeping in front of the door. Around 10 years old or so. We're telling you this from her diary. He wrote a book about this.
This is her account.
Her account. And she brings the child in. The child had a dress that is right behind me.
Yeah, it's
Anyway, we
Right
have the
up there.
photo. We have the picture. We can show the picture. If you go to the next slide, that's the picture.
yeah. Let me bring this up, and that is actually the dress.
yeah.
Yeah,
right
we're
there.
What you're
sitting
about
next
to
to
see.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right there.
That's the dress. And so she doesn't discard this dress. She keeps it with her until 1915. The girls were weaving a carpet for her. 1915 comes, they get an order from the government. They say, "You got to get out. If you don't leave here in 10 days, we're going to take out all these children." So she manages with Papa Kunsler, we're going to talk about that,
Yeah.
all the orphans from Hajin, they transport them to Urfa. She secures all that. She jumps on a horse. She brings with her this dress and the carpet that the girls were weaving for her. The carpet was supposed to be much longer, but since there was no time, they have to cut it short. She says, "Just finish it, put the border for wherever the carpet is. Just put the border, finish it, we got to get out of here." So that carpet and this dress right now is housed in this museum.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tallinn had a question.
Yeah.
She's asking, do you know which natural plants were used for these dyes?
In Armenian, we call them.
I think we talked about this in the first show,
We did.
right? Yeah.
We did.
Yeah. And it was
We
the,
call it antaram.
Yeah.
Um,
And also the red dye, which was
the
from
red dye from madder, but they didn't have that luxury. They used onion skins.
Yeah.
They used pomegranate
You know,
skin.
they used to dye Easter eggs.
Easter
with
eggs
onion
coming
skin,
up.
yeah.
Onion skin,
Yeah, best one,
absolutely.
yeah.
It's always
And it
accessible.
gives a good taste to it, too, as well.
Right, right. So they used their local resources, whatever they had.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, what was her name?
Tallinn.
Tallinn, any food that stains your shirt, you can use it to dye yarn. It's important what kind of mordant you are using to set the pigments. Okay, you can use vinegar, you can use alum, and all that. That's a different topic. So anything that
Does
stains,
wine count in that?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Why not? wine, in fact. Not only gives the color, it also sets the color because of the acidity in it.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you stain your shirt, your dress with red wine, you can wash it with white wine. That will
Really?
take the stain
That's
out.
that's a life hack, guys.
Yeah, there you go. We just learned something
Yeah.
today. I didn't know that.
I had no idea.
All right.
Yeah, or sprinkle
first-
salt on it.
Yeah, first instinct I heard is run to salt.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't hear the white wine
Yeah.
portion.
All right. Well, she just threw a curveball. She said, "What's the source for yellow?
For-
Mustard? No, I'm just kidding.
no,
Yellow.
no. For yellow, the richest yellow is saffron.
Okay.
But onion skin also produced yellow. Pomegranate skin also produced yellow. Depends what kind of mordant you use. Now, if you take several skeins of yarn and each one mordant it with a different mineral, do copper, alum, iron, zinc. All of them put in onion skin bath, they all come different color.
Interesting.
Wow. I mean, it's alchemy,
Yeah.
It is.
more or less.
It
Yeah,
is.
It really is.
It is. So they also use daisy flower for yellow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Where were we?
The next slide is Dorinda Bowman. That's the rug.
Ah,
wait,
yes.
wait. Yeah, keep that. You see on the top, look at the border. There's no continuity. You see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
On the top, it's broken, the border. Now, if you look at the bottom corner,
It continues.
there is
Yeah.
continuous. On the top, it's broken.
Now, why is that?
Because that's when the Turks came and
Oh,
told
so
her,
basically that's
"You
where they
gotta
stopped.
get out."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she said, stop it right there. Just put the border. We're getting out of here.
Oh wow, that's just evidence right there of
Yeah.
something happening. You know,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
So this rug is also here. By the way, there are a few other Hajin rugs here.
wait, is that the one right there?
That's no.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
No,
that's the one.
no, no,
no,
no,
no.
It's not, it's not.
This one, after what happened, another missionary brought that Hajin rug with them. I think it was Dallas, Maggie. From Dallas, they contacted us. They said, we have a Hajin rug also. And we negotiated. Finally, it was donated to the museum. So we have two. I don't think I have seen any other Hajin rugs. Those are the two from Hajin rugs, and two of them are in this museum now.
Okay.
The next one is Adana. Now, if you look at it, the next, okay, that's Dorinda Bowman when
Yeah.
she
Okay.
returned to
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah.
That's her.
Okay.
This is Adana, dated. So I just want to show you a few samples of the surviving genocide from genocide era, the rugs that were woven by orphans.
Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so we're here at this. I don't know what this is. Did I skip
Okay.
ahead? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, that's fine. We'll just let me see which one is that. Adana, after Adana, the evacuation map. Okay, that's when they all the children were evacuated. This is 1921 here now. 1921, we lose Gars. From Gars, when Russians make a deal with Turks and give the Western Armenia on a gold plate to Turks, all these kids from Gars that were in orphanages had to move. The closest place was Etchmiadzin. So they moved them to Etchmiadzin, and from Etchmiadzin, after a while, they move them to Gyumri, to Alexandropol, what we know is Gyumri. But if you look at that time in 1921, there was any orphanage left in entire Turkey. By that time, there was a revolution. It wasn't Anatolia anymore. It was Republic of Turkey.
Yeah.
So nothing left. Everybody left by that time. And, Maggie, recently the museum received some, can you bring them, please? Please. It was like a month ago, the museum received some embroideries that were made in Etchmiadzin Museum, Etchmiadzin Orphanage, and some of them in Gyumri, in Alexandropol.
Oh, this is going to be fun to see.
We just received those.
All right. Well, while they're bringing that, let me see here. Next slide.
that influx of more children raised the Gyumri orphanage to over 20,000 orphans in one location.
Just in one location.
One location.
One
I mean, how big
location.
was the facility?
The facility was actually a barrack. It was a military barrack that was abandoned, and they asked, we need this place to keep the kids safe. So it was given to them, and it was requested by the American. By the way, all these were made by Near East Relief. We're going to talk about Near East Relief. Near East organized all these moves of those children by trains, by horses.
Let me bring that picture up right now, the one you're talking about.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the one you're talking about. And
Yeah.
This is the Armenia's message to America.
Well, there is one before that. Do you have that? Look at that one.
No.
Yeah, between that and
No, this
okay.
is
What's the second one? Okay, those.
Oh, there you go.
No. There is another one that I don't know. Maybe I didn't upload it to your. Okay.
That's fine. I mean,
anyway,
we
you see, these are thousands of children thanking America, and behind them is the barrack.
Nearest relief right there on the roof.
Nearest relief on the roof.
Yeah.
They did, those children did various signs like this. One of them, unfortunately, for some reason, I couldn't upload. You see the previous map where they moved? Previous.
One more?
This one. They did with children this entire map. Children were lined in that open field,
Uh-huh.
they drew a map like this.
Oh, so they lined up. Yeah,
wow.
so they
They're
lined up in
lined
the
up,
map.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did several. They did another one. Their Merry Christmas, for example, to the American people. All these were made poster and sent to United States. Yeah.
Okay. All right, you want to showcase that thing here? Let me put the camera on you. You can
Yeah.
show those.
Okay.
Let's see these.
Here we have some of the.
We'll
What is
show
it?
it to that camera.
Okay,
right?
this
Yeah.
camera. This is a crochet. Maybe you can assist me. Bring this closest to the camera. They could see it. I cannot. Here. If you hold them, if you take everything there, not all of them, just a few samples. They're too much. But I'll tell you which one show, because each one is different. This is a crochet.
That is
This
look at
is
the detail, man.
like
Yeah.
a tablecloth, small tablecloth. All these were made in Etchmiadzin, and some of them were made in. Actually, there is one here. This one, I don't know how this got here, Maggie. This is not from Etchmiadzin. This was made in Athens. This is Greek. This is Greek needlework.
It's amazing how you could just look at it.
I know.
Right
But
away decipher.
Just toss it.
Nope.
Nope. That's
Look
not
at
our
this one.
No, we
This
like the
one
Greeks.
is very interesting. Even the linen, bring that close to the camera so they could see the close-up of it. This linen, believe it or not, is a towel, like a dowry towel. If you take it close to the camera, if they could see the linen
work on it,
itself,
yeah.
the linen itself is not a machine
No.
woven cloth. The linen thread is hand spun. With that hand spun yarn, they wove the cloth, and
You wanna
on
bring
the
it close-
cloth,
if you want to bring it
and
close to the
on
camera.
the cloth, they did this embroidery.
Yeah.
Take it closer, they could see it.
Yeah,
You
it's
see?
you could just looking at the threads, you could see through.
You can see through.
Mm-hmm.
We can tell because it's uneven. Same thing with this. This is also a towel.
I feel like we're at a show and tell.
And this one, this is the most interesting one. I love this.
You guys see the detail? I mean, it's showing it on the camera.
Yeah.
By the way, while you guys are talking about Hovannes, yes, the museum is open to the public. It's in Mission Hills. It's what are the hours, Maggie? Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays from 11 to 5. So
Okay, let me tell you something about this work. This is very intricate. Bring it back. Bring it back. What do you think this is? You cannot guess, but I tell you, it's a Bible purse. This goes like this,
Oh.
and this is a Bible purse. Actually, at one time, the sides were attached. We can see the remnants. We can see the remnants.
yeah.
So they did all kinds of things like
Yeah.
this. And majority of these works
Yeah.
were brought to United States to be sold to raise funds by Nearest Relief.
Oh.
We'll talk about that later. Now, Gyumri Orphanage.
Are you guys enjoying the show? Thumbs up, share, like, say something. I think everybody's mesmerized by
everyone's
everything.
mesmerized by it.
Okay.
If you guys have questions for Heratch, please go ahead
don't
in the
hesitate to
comment
ask.
section. Ask. We'll put it up on the screen. Again, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so every time we go live, you guys can be notified. And thank you for everyone who's joining us through YouTube and Facebook. Hope you guys are enjoying this live as we are. So continuing, go ahead.
Oh,
you
no,
had a
no, no. Go
question?
ahead, go ahead,
No.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, continuing with the next one.
The next picture, if you upload, I want to show them the.
Wait, was this the?
Okay, that's the barrack. Look at those.
Yeah.
They look like what? Ants.
Thousands of them.
Wow.
Over 20,000
Yeah.
orphans in that place.
This is Gyumri?
That's Gyumri.
Wow.
Those barracks are still there, by the way.
Wow.
They were army barracks.
Question. All right.
What's the next? Okay. This is the only Gyumri rug photo that we had. I didn't know about this rug. I talked to Jason a few days ago. I said, Jason, what orphan rugs you have besides the Agin and others? Said, let me talk to Gary. Gary is the curator, Gary Lind Sinanian.
Yeah.
Gary, by the way, did a few segments on the Ghazir rug and the Agin rug. Anyway, but I've never heard about the Gyumri rug. So good enough. Gary pulled out this from the storage, said, we have a Gyumri rug. There is no any other place that I have ever seen. I have many photos, archives of rugs, but I have never seen a Gyumri. So this is the first time that's being online or being published. That I know, okay? It's a gorgeous piece. It's a beautiful rug. The details of each rug, maybe you can check it out with the American Armenian Museum in Watertown. They have over 300 rugs. Not all of them orphan rugs, of course,
Yeah.
but they have extensive, thousands of books, many other. I mean, when it comes to East Coast, the American Armenian Museum is the place to go. West Coast is Eskijian. I mean, yeah. There are other. There is one in Detroit, but Alek Manugyan's collection housed. HBU owns it, but I tried to visit. It was hard. You have to make an appointment. You cannot take photos, and long story. But these two museums, if you want to see Armenian artifacts, history, and all that, these are the two museums.
Yeah.
Well, got a couple questions.
Yeah.
All right.
go ahead.
Carolyn's asking, Mask, how it's wait, put that up. How it's known to be a Gyumri rug? Is it the pattern or provenance?
No. Well, pattern has little
Yeah.
to do because from pattern you cannot tell. For example, they did all kinds of patterns in many orphanages. But what makes an item museum worthy is not the item itself, it's the provenance.
Mm-hmm.
When you get something into the museum, when you look at it, the item is nothing if there is no provenance, the history that comes with it. So that item materializes the history. By looking at it, for example, you can hold a Dikran the Great coin.
Mm-hmm.
It takes you back to what, 250 BC,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's the provenance.
We went through that.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
provenance.
It's right there. It's
literally
right,
right
there.
We can tell, experts can tell the commercial rugs from the weave technique what its provenance or what's the origin. I mean, I can tell that. But Gyumri was not a major carpet production place that had its own fingerprints that you can look at it and say, this is Gyumri. No. But other parts of the Armenia or Artsakh, I can tell.
Tallinn was asking, what are the red and yellow circles on the rug? Are they roses?
Yes, they're
Yeah,
roses.
okay.
They're repeated. repeated roses. It's a floral design. It's just repeated the same thing.
But
Repeated.
this doesn't really have like, you know, as we've talked about previous rugs, like how they all kind of told a story. They had some kind of a
No.
meaning. This is just more
These are
decorative or ornamental.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Perfect.
Now, if you go to the next one, it will show you also. That's a stunning photo there.
Oh wow.
That's again Gyumri. Those kids.
These kids are what, like 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
or maximum 10?
Yeah, they're knitting their own socks
Unbelievable.
for the winter. Now, you may ask where all that wool comes from. Well, Nearest Relief provided them clothing. From here, tons of clothing were collected and sent to orphanages. Some of those clothing that were wool and raggedy, cannot be worn, they unraveled those sweaters.
Mm-hmm.
They took the yarn and they started weaving other things with it. Some of them even were used to weave carpets.
Yeah.
Talk about recycling. So,
Use what you can. Use what you can.
yeah.
You know.
Now, on the next one, if there are any questions, because we're going to go to the next one. This one is the
Work
orphan
on that.
rug that was woven in Ghazir. It came after the... Okay, before this one, let's go to the clip.
Oh, you want to play that clip? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
because-
all right. Perfect.
Okay, let's talk about the clip. The clip...
Okay. Can you set it up
Yeah,
before I play it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you, all these stories about orphans, orphan rugs, and all that, it all started in 2013, 2014, when Bared Maronian launched on a project to make a movie on orphans. The movie was called, a documentary movie called Orphans of the Genocide. It's on Amazon. You can watch on Amazon. You can even buy the CDs. During that time, this carpet that was given to President Coolidge as a gesture for gratitude made a big history. And all those things that were on the media actually started after this movie was aired.
Brought attention to it.
Brought attention to it. I'm going to tell you how from the movie we went all the way to White House to bring the carpet back. But let's first, as a prelude to the rest of the story, let's watch this small segment from Orphans of Genocide.
All right. Here we go.
Orphans of the Genocide. The story of hundreds of thousands of Armenian genocide orphans forgotten in the pages of history. Dr. Martin Duranian, a dentist, historian, and a native of Worcester, Massachusetts, has spent more than 25 years of his life tracing the roots and the whereabouts of an Isfahan rug, known as the orphan rug.
Now, my interest in this rug, woven by Armenian orphans, goes back to a Swiss missionary by the name of Papa Kunsler. He was called doctor, but he really wasn't a doctor. And he helped the Armenians for, at least 25 years, mainly in Urfa. And he was called the father of the Armenian orphans. Well, he saved my mother.
Varter Bogigian, Dr. Martin Duranian's mother, was a native of Sineg near Harput. She was married to Mugardic Nazarian, a prominent merchant. The couple had 6 children and a posh life.
Gendarme knocks on the door of the Nazarian home, telling the husband, Mugardic, that we need you in the store. Don't bother changing your clothes. You're going to be back in a short while. And he was never heard from again.
Widowed with 6 children, Varter starts her dreadful deportation journey, along which she loses all 6 children and her parents. She is abducted by 2 Turkish men, lives through physical and mental indignities before arriving in Urfa, where she meets a Swiss missionary by the name of Jacob Kunsler, who saves her life by sending her to safety in Aleppo, Syria. Varter later settles in the U.S. and remarries to Dr. Duranian's father, Martyros Duranian of Worcester, Massachusetts.
Jacob Kunsler was in Turkey, in Urfa, when one day he saw my grandmother, 2-year-old, 3-year-old little girl, orphaned, no parents, on the street by herself. And he took her and adopted her, and he took her to Switzerland, where she was raised. She went to school with her siblings. Jacob didn't have any children then when he adopted her, and then later on he had several children, and my grandmother Rosa was raised with them.
Ida's grandmother, Vartuhi, Rose in Armenian, was one of the 9 orphan siblings of a family from Urfa. All her siblings
Hey guys, looks like we're having some network issues here, so I guess we're gonna end that clip from there. Can anybody see us? Somebody give us a thumbs up that you can see us.
Are we alive?
We're having some network issues here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we're having some network issues. It keeps going in and out. We're not sure what it is.
Oh, it's back.
It's back.
Yeah.
Put it on. Let's.
Okay.
Yeah, they can see us.
Yeah, that was weird.
Try it again.
Okay.
Yeah, let it run.
All right.
Jacob Kunsler and his wife Elizabeth took Rosa in and raised her as their own.
In the 20s, I believe, early 20s or late 1919, they came back to Urfa to do his missionary work. He had his family with him, and that's where my grandmother was introduced to my grandfather, Moses Alahidoyan. They got married, and my father was born in Urfa. When he was about 6 months old, all of the Kunsler and the Alahidoyan families, they came to Lebanon. And that's when they all got established in Ghazir, and the orphanage and some other, I guess, missionary work and schools were established.
Jacob Kunsler saved the lives of thousands of Armenian Genocide orphans. Under his supervision, 8,000 orphans were transferred from Anatolia to Aleppo and Lebanon. Once, while rushing to the funeral of an orphan, Jacob slipped and got poisoned by common thorns. Eventually, his arm got infected and had to be amputated. He was called Papa by thousands of Armenian orphans for his selfless devotion to the rescue and care of the children.
It was this Papa Kunsler who established this rug factory in the orphanage established by Near East Relief in Ghazir. And so you can understand my passion for this story and for the rug. And I have spent perhaps 25 years researching every bit of the story that I could. And I have traveled hither and yon to trace what happened to that rug, which was a beautiful piece of work, 18 feet by almost 12 feet, woven by these destitute orphans, girls, and given to America as an expression of love for what America had done for them. And it was presented to the President of the United States, Calvin Coolidge, in 1925. And he received it with great honor on which was called Golden Rule Sunday.
After 25 years of exhausting research, Dr. Duranian located the orphan rug at a White House storage.
The rug captured my interest, perhaps out of memory of what Papa Kunsler had done, particularly to
All right, guys. Again, I
Yeah, we're
apologize. We're having network issues. I know you guys can see us, but I don't know what's going on here. But
But you want to?
you want
I'll
to
continue.
Yeah.
I'll
Do you want to
continue.
finish the story
Yeah,
off?
yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
know you.
Why
know
don't
it
you?
really
Why
well.
don't you go to the next clip?
the slide?
Next slide. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
What happened for?
Oh,
now it's
started,
back.
Yeah, it's back.
It's back. Put
bizarre.
it on. I much rather them hearing it from
It's
Dr.
almost done.
Deranian.
It's almost done anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're almost done.
Apologize for the mess. It's
the telling reason for me to be doing this.
In 1984, Senator Carl Levin, a Democrat from Michigan, along with Dr. Duranian, paid a visit to the White House for a viewing of the rug. To this date, the orphan rug remains in storage at the White House as Armenian activists diligently work on having the rug removed from storage and displayed for public viewing permanently.
all right.
All right, we finally got it done.
Okay. Sorry
right.
about that, guys.
All right. Since then, what happened? Go to the next one.
As far as the
The next. Yeah.
Yep.
The rug in 1983, at that time when Dr. Deranian was in White House and looked at the rug, White House wanted to take the rug into storage. They gave it, at the time, the only company, carpet company, that was allowed in White House to service their rugs was Kezibeyokian in Maryland. James and Harold Kezibeyokian. In this photo, that's Harold Kezibeyokian. That's Harold Kezibeyokian in 1983 with the orphan rug. The rug came to their place to be washed, and for them to write an appraisal what it worth so they could record it, and it's going to go to storage. Harold and Jimmy Kezibeyokian were one of the pillars of the Armenian Rug Society. They founded, along with several others, they founded the Armenian Rug Society. And at that time, if you go to the next clip, Harold Kezibeyokian evaluated this rug $17,500. The size
at that time.
the size was 11.7 wide by 18.5. It's 3.5 meter by 5.5 meter approximately.
It's a massive rug.
Yeah, and they did also usually when you do an appraisal, you do put the nut count, how many nuts per square inch, size, all those details. And it turns out that this rug has 4,400,000 some nuts in the entire rug.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to the next one.
4.4 million.
Okay, what you're looking at is the warehouse in Ghazir Orphanage where those rugs were woven and kept there until they were exported.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk about that later. Let's continue where Deranian left.
Now, before you continue,
Yeah.
we have something
Really
for
quick.
you, really quick. You know, we're halfway. I mean, we're about an hour 36 into the show, and we want to announce everybody that we are officially launching our 4th piece of sculpture,
No.
and it is. I know it's just something that's dear to your heart. So everybody, this is going to be
So-
available tonight for.
I know it's in a ghetto box because we just had it sent to us overnight from our manufacturer yesterday.
It is Gomitas. So this is our.
The first Gomidas? Oh my
Yes.
God.
So this is going to be available tonight after the show
There you go,
on
Heratch.
medherosner.com, where you can go ahead and order it.
That's our gift to you.
So let me go ahead and. Okay, so that's the 3D format. This is the real one. If you want to put it towards the camera so people can see up close. Here, let me. Can people see it? There you go, guys. This is the actual
Careful,
my
don't
goodness.
don't drop it.
Gomita sculpture. This is in marble cast. This is the first one, and it is going to Heratch. It is going to be available tonight, like I said, after the show for pre-order. We are going to do limited amounts for now because each one does take a long time for it to be manufactured. So you have to be patient. And then,
You guys, I'm so touched. I'm so touched. You know why? I tell you. This is off the subject. Gomidas is my number one saint, number one hero. If Armenians have a saint, this should be it.
yeah.
Every Armenian, if you know what Gomidas did,
Yeah.
Gomidas actually brought our history, the unwritten history. He unraveled the pre-Christian Armenian history through the Armenian folk songs.
Mhm.
If it wasn't of Gomidas, we wouldn't know our history.
No.
We learned so
agree.
much. And this genius, you know, all over the world, in diaspora, even in Armenia, we build churches with those names that are not Armenian. Why don't you build a church and say Saint Gomidas Church? How come we
Yeah.
don't have one? Anyway,
It's
But-
unfortunate.
but I'm so grateful. You guys are really,
Well, the talent is
Well, we
Mr.
knew.
Mike Balyan over here.
I tell you, you made my month. Okay, not my day, my month. This month, Gomidas, just like a lightning, it came to my mind. What did he go through the genocide,
Yeah.
all that? And I tell you,
Yeah, it was
you
it
did
was
surprise me. And it's gonna have a special place in my room, in my office. Maybe when I go to bedroom, I take it with me.
I don't know.
When I
So-
when I'm working in the
refrain from
office, I
saying
put it
anything
on
about
my
that.
desk.
You're
I-
welcome. We know how much he means to you, and that's one of the reasons why
Yeah.
you get
Thank
to have
you
the
very
first one.
much.
You get
Thank
to
you
have the
very
first
much.
one.
Problem.
You know,
Anytime.
I
anytime.
appreciate it so much. Not only the statue you're giving me, what you're doing to general public, man.
Yeah.
You're bringing our history alive.
Yeah.
You're teaching the
That's-
kids their past, who they are.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate your work. You know, I'm not really good in giving compliments, but honestly, folks, go to Mer Herosner on YouTube. Just watch every segment. Eventually, there is an encyclopedia there, okay? These guys are covering every corner. They're not going to leave any unturned stone
No.
when
Yeah.
it comes to Armenian
We've got-
history.
We've
I
got
tell
we've got
you.
amazing help.
Yeah, 22,000
Yeah.
years of history, which will
This
be
is
covered.
wonderful. This is,
Um,
thank you very much.
you're welcome.
You're welcome,
I
Heratch.
cannot emphasize how grateful I am.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
So everybody, again,
I'm actually goosebumps. Really goosebumps.
I wasn't expecting that much, but
Yeah.
hey, I'll take
Yeah.
it.
But I tell you what, who did this? The first one you did?
well, yeah, he designs it, and then
Yeah.
we have a manufacturer
He
who
made
does the.
he made Gomidas much younger. What age was he?
This is the
This is
famous picture.
It's that one picture.
yeah, but
the
he
one-
has a little more hair here.
Well, it's a
Unless-
sculpture. We
it's-
can't, it's hard to bring hair
no,
into the
it's
sculpture.
okay, but
yeah.
he is Gomidas. You look
Yeah.
at it, he is Gomidas.
Yeah,
but it
that was the
appears-
goal. Is I gotta capture his face.
You did
Gotta-
great.
Yeah, gotta get his face down with the limited images that you have of him.
Folks, Michael is artist, by the way. He's
I'm an amazing one.
yeah,
Thanks.
he's an artist. This is his hobby, okay? This is
Hobby,
his hobby.
living,
His
puts bread on bread
yeah,
on my table.
yeah.
It's a
All right,
living.
let's put him right
All day,
here
every
so
Yeah.
people can see it.
Can
and
we
then- yeah,
put it here?
yeah, you should be able to. There you go. All right, everybody can see it.
Right there. Thank you.
So again, guys, this will be after the show. It will be available for pre-order on medherosner.com. This is our fourth sculpture. Like I said, it'll be a limited amount. So if you want one, go ahead and order it. And then we're expecting probably 25 of them within the next month or
yeah.
so.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
the next month.
So as soon as it comes in, we'll start shipping them out to you guys. And then because it is the month of April and we're kind of dedicating all our shows towards
Towards
genocide.
genocide in April
Next
24th.
show, we will release our next sculpture. And
Yep.
then on the
We've got
28th,
more.
it will be another one. And these all are related to the Armenian genocide. So
We've been busy, as we've been saying.
yeah.
Been
People are
busy.
asking, why have you not been posting anything?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, April is also
Armenian History
Armenian
Month.
History
yes.
Month.
Yes,
Yep.
that is correct.
okay. We're not gonna let the genocide rule.
No,
Our
I
lives.
agree with you.
You
on
know,
that.
we move on,
Yeah.
but we learn from history.
Yeah.
And
There's too much to celebrate.
yeah.
So, but yeah, we had to do that. Oh, sorry, we interrupted, but we wanted to present that to you. So, continuing, where were we?
Okay.
What point were we at?
Um,
Let me bring this.
what happened? What happened during that time? Okay, no, we can come to this later.
Okay.
It's okay, Vic. Let me tell them what happened.
Okay.
When Orphans of the Genocide movie was airing here, was premiered and airing, at that time there was a request from Armenia that if Bared can send the historic photos of the Ghazir Rug, of the genocide photos, historic photos, orphans and so forth, so on, so they could make an exhibit in Yerevan. He sends the photos while there was an exhibit. At that time, the American ambassador to Armenia was Joe No, not Evans. Evans was before him. Because Evans used the word genocide, they brought him back. They took his title away, but they replaced him. Let me see. I have it somewhere. Joe Heffen, I believe. Anyway, the ambassador, the American ambassador, goes visits the exhibit. He visits the exhibit, and then he learns about the orphan rug that was donated to President Coolidge.
Yeah.
He says, how come I don't know about this rug? Well, they tell him here's the story, it's in the storage. He says, this should be in public. At that time, Vice President of Armenian Rug Society, Levon Derbedrosyan, was also at the opening of the exhibit. And he is the one who's talking to Heffer, I think it's Heffer, to the ambassador, says, look, this is the story, and if you could help us to communicate with the White House, if we can bring this for the month of April, we'll appreciate it. He says, let me see what I can do. Let me contact few people. So there was a triangle work. Dr. Deranian, through the Armenian Rug Society here, us, and Heffen, the ambassador in Armenia, we started communicating with White House. White House says, we cannot let it out. There is too much liability, where we will display it and so forth. So we contacted the Smithsonian Museum, and we said, look, the secure place would be Smithsonian Museum. If you allow us, we would like to exhibit it there for 1 week, and Armenian Rug Society will provide all the expenses necessary to move and mount it and all that. Negotiations back and forth, they said, no way we can do it for 1 week. Maybe we can do it for 1 day, if you like. But the expense is going to be, again, the same thing, about $45,000.
Yeah.
$45,000. We had an immediate meeting. We said, okay, we'll do it for 1 day. We'll come up with the funds. Let's do it. And this time they came back and again, they said, no, we cannot have it overnight. We can only do it for one event.
So every time it was another.
Every time there was a delay.
What
they're doing.
Sprinkle takeaway. Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, I think they were bluffing.
Of course they were.
They were saying, we can do this, but it will cost $45,000. They weren't expecting us to come up with that fund.
Yeah.
When we said yes,
They don't know
we can-
Armenians.
Anyway, to make the long story short, in the end, the story, in the end, they said we can only have it for 2 hours. Public cannot come. Only you can invite several press, and that's it. 2 hours, again, for the same cost. I said, let's do it. By that time, I was the president of Armenian Rug Society. Let's do it. So we will fly, we will start, promoting it and all that. The answer comes after 3 days, rejected. Again, no. Somehow the story leaks to Washington Post. Washington Post contacts us. By this time, also, Dr. Deranian was after it. I mean, this all happens. By the way, Dr. Deranian was a member of Armenian Rug Society from its very beginning, 1980s. Dr. Deranian, by this time, has published his book about this orphan rug. And he is on a tour to promote his book. We had a meeting, we discussed how can we do this, get involved, ambassador again from Armenia, back and forth. They closed all the doors against us. So after Washington Post published the story, it was a featured story, that was the explosive.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, BBC, Liana Agajanian did a segment in BBC magazine that was actually translated into 4 languages, in Turkish, in Persian, in Arabic, in German, in English, in various languages worldwide. To make the long story short, the story was echoed by 300 different media outlets all over the world. Once we got that, so what happened, the rejection from the White House, actually we used it. It turned out to be
good.
positive.
Yeah.
From the day one,
Good-
if they
good PR.
allowed us, if they allowed the exhibit, some papers were going to write about it. Maybe news media going to do a small clip, small coverage, and that was it. But the rejection
Turned out to be good PR.
turned out to be good PR.
Yeah.
And finally, the ANC got involved in it. Campaigns, Adam Schiff got involved in it. He from here. 31 senators signed and got involved in it, and they started writing to White House. They said, look, we senators, we want this. If you don't want to exhibit it in White House, we'll take it to the State Department. This belongs to the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, finally, we got an okay from Washington, D.C., from the White House, without any penny cost to us,
Wow.
to be exhibited in
So
the
the
White
45K
House.
backfired on
Yeah.
them, huh?
To be exhibited in the White House's visitor center for 1 week. So I
Free of
was
charge.
invited by
Wait, it went from 4 hours to 1 week now.
for 1 week.
Wow.
Well, a lot of people got involved in it because it became a international story.
Yeah.
They cannot, go back. But we sensed that it wasn't the American government's decision to reject it. There was politics in it. Who
course
knows
there
what's happened with
Yeah.
Turkey and all that? Who
Yeah.
knows? Anyway, again, on the opening day, I was invited to give the story of the orphan rug at the congressional press conference at the opening day.
Yeah.
So that's the story. If you go to the clippings, this next one, after that's Dr. Diranian. And this photo was actually when he was on the campaign. This was way before the Coolidge, the president's rug. This was when he visited California to talk about his private. He had another orphan rug that was donated to a missionary. You see in the background,
Yeah.
that blue with the red border. Yeah, when he was, that rug was on display and he was talking about his book. So right here, actually, we were talking about the orphan rug in White House. Go to the next one. Guess who's in this picture? At this time, guess who was my Armenian Rock Society's secretary?
Well, that's
Gevorg Nazarian.
that's Give. Oh my God. That's
Yeah, that's Gevorg Nazarian.
wow. Does not look
Doesn't
like
look
him.
like him.
That's him. This is in 2014 by now. 2014 and Mira. This rug, eventually, what happened about this rug? Dr. Diranian got sick. He actually knew he was going to pass away. And the rug, he came to Armenian Rock Society. He said, look, I don't know what to do with this rug. I have debts and I need the funds. Otherwise, I would just donate it to a museum, but
Yeah.
I need funds. I said, how much you're expecting? We went back and forth. To make the long story short, I'm not going to disclose.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
want to give
no,
up.
it's okay.
And it ended up with the chairman of LARC organization. You know, LARC is opening a museum now in Glendale.
Oh,
a
yeah.
music
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
The music
Yep.
school. The chairman, Andy Torosian, ended up acquiring the rug. It's mounted on a frame just like this one right now. And eventually it's going to go in Lark's museum. So next photo is when they received the rug in my studio from Andy is right from, I don't know which direction you're looking. Okay, from right. The second one is Andy.
In the blue,
Yeah, in the blue.
that one. Yeah.
Now the other three besides me were this is too much of a coincidence. These three individuals were guests from Armenia to give a lecture and a symposium on Gomidas. The one standing next to me is Artur Shahnazarian. He is the #1 Gomidas aked. He is the one who deciphered the khazes.
Really?
Artur and the rest, they were here and they want to visit and see some of the Armenian rugs and talk to me. And that was the occasion when this photo was made. So that's the other orphan rug that's going to be in Lark's museum. So next, let's see, which one is the next photo? Okay, that's the writing. That's the inscription on the Ghazir rug that belonged to Dr. Deranian, which will end up in Lark. Next is, let's see, which photo is... Okay, that's the one in the press club. I'm giving the story of the Ghazir rug at the Congressional Press Conference.
Mhm.
Next one... Yeah, this is the family of Heffen, Ambassador Heffen's family. He was in Armenia. He wasn't here. But his family, his wife, his children came to see the rug and meet us. And I am with Bedoukian is there, Maggie. Bedoukian, Joe Bezjan, his wife, passed away. Bedoukian, me, and Ambassador's family. The next picture, Adam Schiff did a great job, helped us really to... And the background, you see the rug, the carpet, the orphan carpet in the back. And the next picture is Evans. This is Ambassador Evans. We were talking to Dr. Deranian. That's the ambassador that iterated the word genocide in Armenia, and they took the title away from him. But he is a great man. He's a great man.
Of course.
Great historian. And the next photo is where the carpet was on display.
I can't get over how large it is.
Do we know the exact size?
Yeah, 11 and a half by
did you mention that?
18
Yeah.
something.
Okay,
It was on one of the previous slides too.
Okay. All right.
The
Oh yeah, that's
The
right. That's right.
details of it,
Sorry,
yeah.
guys.
So-
I'm controlling so many things.
4.4 million knots.
Okay, who's this?
Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester. What he has to do with Armenians?
I don't know.
What has he in common? Okay. Go to the...
He's not Armenian, is he?
No, he's
Okay,
not.
all right,
He's
I don't
not.
know.
Uncle Fester, go to the next one.
We can make him Armenian.
Yeah. Festerian.
He was the kid in Charlie Chaplin's movie.
That's him right there.
Oh yeah.
Jackie Coogan grew up to be Uncle Fester, and Jackie Coogan went coast to coast raising funds for the Armenian orphans.
Orphans, yeah.
And some say that this movie, the kid was inspired from those orphans. In this movie, he's an orphan.
Yeah.
If you go to the next one, that's Jackie Coogan. Remember the photo
map.
of the
Yeah,
map
yeah,
that
yeah.
we showed?
Yeah.
That's the map.
He is showing the map to they used pictures, photos like this in news media. They did posters. They did all kinds of things. So they collected over $120 million at that time.
At that time.
At that time.
And if you do the math,
That's like inflation is like
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Jackie Coogan from New York Times newspaper.
yeah.
That was actually his campaign was founded by Nestle milk, the dairy.
Oh, Nestle.
Nestle,
Yeah.
Nestle.
We saw some of these pictures when we had live with
Yes.
Artovan from
Yep.
the
It's funny how some of these pictures
Project
kind of
Save, yeah.
circulate
yeah
with
Project Save.
different
Right.
guests and different
Right.
topics,
And-
right?
And now, aside from the money, they also shipped tons of food, clothing, blankets. There's actually, if you turn the camera on that side camera, I can show you a blanket here in the museum. And here, the blanket.
You want me to help you?
Okay. There is a tag. Let me see. Where's the tag, Maggie?
Well, Heratch is doing that. I want to thank everybody who's stuck around with us. We're 2 hours into this show. Thank you guys so much for joining us live
Anyway,
and watching.
It's okay. It's okay. This is a blanket that was used in orphans that went from here. It was like they also used some military surplus blankets, and people were donating clothing. And in that photo, you see Jackie Coogan shipping the clothing, shipping food nearest relief orphans in Holy Land.
Yeah.
Now, if there are any questions, let's
Yeah, audience, if you guys have any questions, feel free to.
because we covered so much, we're
yeah,
not
I
giving
know.
them a chance.
Yeah, but I want to ask you something. You know, I don't know if you have an answer to this, but you know, when you have this type of a massive relief happening, you know, you're talking about in the American public, you know, help the orphans from the genocide and all this, the amount of money, if you calculate nowadays, it's in like $400-500 million range.
yeah.
If you were to calculate from that, you said 130 million, right?
Yeah.
So let's multiply it by
Use-
5 for now. But usually it's like 10 times, right? So you're talking about in the
I
billion.
would say $1 billion for
Yeah.
today's
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
especially now.
Yeah, especially now. Yeah. Why did it all of a sudden? Because they did recognize the Armenian genocide, but it was mentioned when, like, I want to say in the what year did he coin the term?
Oh,
30s,
Lemkin?
1930s.
Yeah,
This is
Lemkin.
the 30s.
It was in
30s,
30s. Yeah.
31 or 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something
30s.
like
so
that, yeah.
it was after that term was used in the United States as the Armenian genocide. Why did it all of a sudden die out? Like, what happened that
Politics.
this movement?
Come on.
I mean, think about it. Look,
look,
how much time has gone
they
by.
don't want to upset Turks.
Yeah.
They don't want to open
No, I'm talking
this
about back
can of
then.
worms.
But hold on. What I'm saying is back then you had, you know, movie stars and all these people donating all this money based on what was happening.
It was
But then
it
all
was
of a sudden it just like it went silent.
it was the current thing at the time.
Well,
You know, and people were
To
there was a-
self-satisfy that you're doing
I wouldn't
something.
say so. I'm not trying to put some sort of agenda spin to it, but it just there was obviously an outcry. There was a movement, and in that movement, what he's saying is it kind of phased out
on nearest relief. Do a Google search. They have a website, virtual museum. All these are recorded. I'm not making up anything.
No.
I mean, you can go and see, and they still work. They still do work.
Yeah.
I wonder what
But,
their name is. I wonder what their name is currently.
Nearest relief.
Oh, well, no, but did you
now
say? Yeah, did you say
near-
they kind of went through a name change or something?
Yeah,
like
slight,
This? Yeah.
but nearest is
Yeah.
still there. Anyway, what I'm saying, politics has always played a big part in why people don't know. Well, Turkey and United States are allies.
Yeah.
They have to, certain
After
places.
the 30s, yeah.
Yeah, after 30s. But things change. You never know.
Yeah.
Things change.
Yeah.
Right now, they're we have interest in Armenia,
No, there is. There's definitely interest in it now.
in Caucasus,
Of course, there is.
and Turkey is coming short.
They've got a lot of
They're
problems.
playing different games now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
They're
got.
juggling on
Yeah.
two sides.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen.
As
But
they've
originally, look,
done their history.
I think you're gonna have about politics another segment you're working on, right? By the end of this month.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the
Well,
Wilson-
Arapopian will be talking about the Wilsonian map.
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wilsonian map
Yeah.
was done by Americans.
Yeah.
Look at that part of the history.
Yep.
Anyway, let's not go into politics. It's not my favorite subject, by the way.
Yeah, it never does anybody good.
All right. Well, the audience, they're just kind of commenting. Sorry about that. We had a quick hiccup there. People lost our audio, but we're back. And then no questions yet. So let's continue. Do we have more? I think we have some couple more pictures,
Few
right?
more.
A few more pictures to showcase.
Okay. How was, rare things. Well, you see, we showed some of those embroideries and rugs. Those were sold actually in all over the world. In United States, there was a store that was operated by Near East, and all those were sold to the general public here. And from Ghazir Orphanage alone, there were about 3,240 some rugs produced. And a while ago, I showed that photo. That was the warehouse of the Ghazir Orphanage.
Yeah.
So from Ghazir alone, 3,200 some 40 some rugs.
My goodness.
What happened?
Over. If you don't mind me asking, over how long of a period?
So they came to Ghazir in 1920s.
Yeah.
Within 10-year period or so.
Wow.
Well, what happened when they came there, Papa Kunsler contacted, in Urfa they were doing carpets. But when the orphans came to Syria first, and from Aleppo they came to Lebanon, they had to do something, right? He dispatched, there was a master weaver in Urfa, Hofsep, last name slipped my mind. Or was it Kharpurt? No, from Urfa. Hofsep Tashjian, yes. He called to Ghazir so he could start a factory. They didn't have the means to buy a loom or to build a loom. So he borrowed. There was loaned about $500 or so to Papa Kunsler. They bought wood, they built the looms, they start producing the rugs, and from that one loom, from that $500, they started producing carpets, selling, building other looms, and so forth. That's how it grew. And if a girl or any orphan at that time, for some reason that was the policy, when they come to the age 16, they cannot keep them in orphanage anymore. They have to let them go. So Papa Kunsler was pretty protective about his kids. That's why he was called Papa. So either he arranged for these orphan girls to get married to orphan boys. By the way, orphan boys also were producing, they had many different types of vocational training to produce things. For example, there is a jewelry box. There were carpenters, there are tin. They would make dishes and cups from.
You want to grab that? Yeah, there you go.
This jewelry box was made in Gyumri.
Wow.
From scrap wood or who knows.
That almost looks like a actual
Chest.
like a chest, but a miniature
Yeah.
version of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a chest, like a dresser.
Yeah, like a dresser. There you go. That's what it
But
was.
it's a jewelry box.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were making things like this. The boys also were making, believe it or not, for orphan kids, they were making toys from wood, like rocking horse,
Yeah.
bicycles, other toys for others, younger kids. In fact, there was an orphan who built a complete car from engine and up, everything from scratch. There are records of those.
From wood?
No,
No, actual
full.
car.
No, no,
actual
full.
car, but a
Motorized
miniature,
car.
size of this table, small, a miniature car that
Yeah.
everything works.
And it ran.
Functional.
And it
Wow.
ran functionable.
Wow.
By the way, you know the book Spartalian published about the patents in U.S.?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Automatic transmission.
Well, yeah, we know that. Yeah.
Who is he? He was an orphan.
Well, I mean, I don't know much about. it,
Yeah,
but he was-
there is a whole story there. Anyway, so
we have a question actually.
Yeah.
From Hovanes. Let me bring it up to the screen. It says, Mike, can you read that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hovanes is asking, do you think, I believe it to be, in parentheses, that traditional methods will always produce more authentic pieces? Or can using modern tools or technology produce the same authenticity?
I don't know what he means.
I think he means
About carpets, are we talking?
Yeah,
What
we're
are
talking about
Yeah.
carpets. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about carpet.
Well, for thousands of years, carpets, the way it was made thousands of years ago, it's still made the same way.
So there's no machinery that.
There's no machinery. There is machine-made carpets, but there's no machine that can tie a knot, unless now they can create a robot who can sit down and weave.
I wouldn't be
24 hours.
surprised. Yeah.
I won't be surprised either. But the traditional way, what is collectible carpet, are the ones that are not commercially produced in workshops. The ones that in the village, a family has 20 sheep, 2 goats. They shear their own sheep. They don't discard the wool. They wash it. They spin the yarn. Whatever access they have for vegetables, with those vegetable dyes, they dye, and the woman weaves her own. Those are the one-of-a-kind carpets that are collectible.
Yeah.
But later, the same carpet, there are thousands of them, mass-produced by hand in factories and accessible in the market. Of course, the previous one is much more desirable.
Of course. Yeah.
But the quality has nothing to do with the way it was made.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing.
Thank you for the question, Hovanes. We appreciate that. So, all right, let me bring the next slide on.
So all this is
Yes.
happening. I want you. Let's see. Where are we? Which slide on? Oh, okay. This is another rug made in Ghazir, which is housed in our American Armenian Museum in Watertown, Massachusetts, Boston.
Yeah.
The next one is also in the same museum. Go to the next photo. That one is also in that museum. But here is this one. Check this one. The next one.
So many different
That's an
colors.
interesting one. The tooth rug.
Okay. Tell us about this.
This had to been
This
hanging
tooth
in
rug
some
was
dentist's
a
office.
trophy. Well, the complete story of this specific rug, it's on YouTube by Gary Lynn Sinanian, AMA, the Armenian American Museum already. They did a small segment on this one. If you go on YouTube, they have the story. But briefly, there was another orphan by the name Harutyun Srabian, who was born in 1899 in Harpert. He turned out to be a dentist in Lebanon.
Yeah.
He was graduated in 1923 from the American University of Beirut. Became a dentist.
24 years old. Wow.
He was born in 1990. No,
You
he
said
was
1899. right?
1899.
Yeah. So he was
30 something.
No, you said
By
1920 thing. So he would have been 24 years old. 1923.
1899.
99 to 1923.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
You're
he
right.
would've
I
Yeah.
mistake the 10 years. Anyway, he becomes a dentist and he cares for all the orphan children in orphanages
Mhm.
all over Lebanon.
Yeah.
At that time, it was Syria. There were more than one, by the
Yeah.
way. There were several. There was one in Antura. There is Ghazir. There was one in Sidon. Anyway, for all of them. And he came up with this idea. He said, you're going to weave a carpet with this inscription on it. And any orphanage that has the cleanest teeth, every 6 months he would go to those orphanages and examine the kids. Any orphanage that has the cleanest teeth, they get to keep this trophy for their in their orphanage for the next 6 months.
It's interesting.
So,
So
there
the-
was
so-
a trophy.
So this was basically turned into a trophy. Now, wait, was this the only one that was ever
No,
made?
there was another
there had
one
to be.
also,
Yeah.
which is, I think, in Lebanon now
Yeah.
with the son, his son. But this one was made also for the American Dental Association.
So where is this carpet now?
This is also in American Armenian Museum in Boston.
All right, we definitely need a road trip.
I knew you were
Yeah.
bound to say
Any
it again.
sponsors want to take care of the trip costs?
You were bound to say it again.
All right. So what are we looking at here?
During all this time, Maggie Goshen gets a call that the sister rug of the Coolidge sister rug that was given to President Coolidge is in here in California. There is a miniature of it, this one, with Papa Kunsler's daughter.
Wow.
Maggie pursues it back and forth, back and forth. Finally, she gets a thumbs up to go personally and look at it. And while she was there, she gets this picture, she sends it to me. I look at it, I said, Maggie, this one is the smaller medallion of the Coolidge rug. Coolidge rug has 3 medallions, central medallion and the smaller medallions, upper and the lower one. So what the girls did, they took the small medallion, turned it into this smaller version. But how did they do that? When they were weaving the President Coolidge's rug, the baby girl, she was 4-year-old or something. The orphan girls would babysit her, have her sit next to them while they are weaving the carpet, give her few yarns, she would play with the yarns. And when the carpet was gone, she was crying. What happened to my carpet? She wanted her carpet. She wanted her carpet. The girl said, okay, we're going to weave the same carpet for you. What color would you like? She said, blue. So they made the blue version of it and smaller one for her. So anyway, this carpet came on a loan to be displayed in Ararat-Eskijian Museum.
That's the one right over there, right?
That's the one right over there.
Okay.
And still on loan. And when...
Oh, sorry. I went
No, that's the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, keep it here. We wanted to do a lecture and invite the public to display this carpet and to give the story of the orphan rugs and orphanages in here in the museum upstairs in the chapel. For that occasion, the girl on the right, the lady on the right with white hair, not the glasses, the other one, that's holding the hand of the other, she is Papa Kunsler's youngest daughter. And in Ararat home, there are Armenians. This lady, she was 103 years old. Her name was Yevnige at that time. She came to attend the lecture and she saw this lady. She said, my God, I babysitted her in Ghazir Orphanage.
Oh my God.
She was 15 years old or something, and she was nursing kids that came from Ghazir.
Yeah.
They were partially blind from the desert sand. And she recognized her. During the entire time, while I was giving the history of Ghazir Rag and orphanages, they were sitting next to each other, holding each other's hand, just like this.
This is like 6, 7, 8 decades later.
8 decades
And
later.
to recognize one
And
another.
how?
Wow.
How?
And after the...
That's divine. That's
when this came and when they learned about how valuable these are relics in Armenia, in Armenian culture. I mean, these we cherish them. Papa Kunsler's granddaughters, she had 3 daughters. So Papa Kunsler also gave her, for every daughter she had, 1 rug from Ghazir Orphanage. All 3 of them are here in this museum. Next photo is her with Yevnige sitting in the front next to her, and the daughters, and that's Maggie, and the grandson. And the next picture is what? Let's see, there is one more. Okay, yeah, those are her 3 daughters. Me and Mira there. So that's the story of this orphan rug. Now, this photo, after this lecture, Liana Agajanian, she's a reporter. She did a segment, she did a story on this that was published in BBC. After that, I've got an email from Paris from a young man who said, my mother wove one of those rugs in Ghazir Orphanage and I have it in our home. In France.
Wow.
What a connection.
Now, I'm sure this has happened to you plenty of times.
I got another call from Memphis, Tennessee. A young man says, my grandfather was a missionary in Ghazir, volunteering, and I have one of those rugs. So there were like at least 3 of similar rugs to light. Recently, I'm hearing from Maggie that altogether the same pattern, there are 5
Wow.
since then. They're just appearing.
Now, are you guys trying to track him and kind of bring him here, or is that?
Well, whatever we can, but not
Yeah.
everybody wanted to let
course,
it go.
yeah.
They're not gonna let
They're
them
heirlooms.
go.
They're family
Of course,
heirlooms.
of course, of
Some
course.
of them that they loan it. We have loaned ones.
Yeah.
But we have also here the ones that are donated.
Yeah.
That's different. Of course, the museum gives them a tax write-off receipt for their
course,
yeah.
value.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
Oh, this is the Leviathan. When
Such an interesting name for their ship.
yeah, what happened? This is the first ship that 250 specialists, at the first call, they went to overseas from United States to assist the refugees and the orphans on that ship. It's called the Leviathan. That's the next one. There, Nearest Relief Expedition leaves. That was the first time. That's the
That's the article.
That's the article, yeah. The next one also, this train was also, you see the sign on it?
Yeah. The train. Yeah.
Yeah. What happens, actually, they were shipping stuff from here to Gyumri, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was going on a ship, and they were using the Batum, Georgian Batum port, and from there to Armenia via these trains.
Wow.
Anyway, okay, that's a copy of when the girls become 16 in orphanage. When they're gonna get released, they would get a certificate like this one, so they can find a job. They get married and actually they also opened factories outside the orphanage to provide those girls work so they can be independent and
Yeah.
financially self-sufficient. What's the next one? There. This is when
is this?
President Coolidge is receiving the rug, and that's when he received it, he did make a remark, and it was published when he says I don't know if your audience can read it. It says, the beautiful rug woven by the Armenian children in the Ghazir orphanage in the Lebanon has been received. This, their expression of gratitude for what we have been able to do in the country for their aid, is accepted by me as a token of their goodwill to the people of the United States. The rug has a place of honor in the White House, where it will be a daily symbol of goodwill on earth. And of course,
Crazy.
we, since then, not only the orphans, we are also the diasporan Armenians are actually we're our grandfathers. There wasn't going to be diaspora Armenians if there weren't those orphans.
Of course not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, we are also grateful for the American people
Of
for
course,
what
of
they
course.
did 100 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, we are grateful.
Yeah.
At one time, when they would talk to an Armenian, if somebody said, I'm Armenian, they would say, oh, you're one of the starving Armenians, because
That was the
that was the label.
yeah.
In fact, Charles Aznavour was having an interview, and Johnny Carson said, "Oh, you so one of the starving Armenians," to Charles Aznavour. Anyway, so if those are the relics that keeps our story alive, and by learning our story and these tangible evidences of our story,
We have to.
it enlightens
Of course
us.
it does.
It-
It's the strengthens your roots
Exactly. And
and deepens
you
them.
decide where to go,
Oh,
the
absolutely.
direction you're going to be going.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna put a gun to your head, you know.
Yeah.
Just at some point, you start getting drawn to it, as it's happened with me, as it's happened with you, you know.
Right now, for example, there is a big movement in the United States to aid Ukrainians. Now, imagine, okay, 100 years ago,
About
same
the same
thing is
scale.
happening about the same scale. Absolutely. They
Yeah.
have over 3 million refugees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Unfortunately, they didn't do that during the Artsakh War, but you know,
That's the whole different topic.
It is.
it is.
is.
but
That's
I'm
a
just saying,
whole different topic.
I'm just saying, you know.
Vic, come on. Armenia officially is an ally for Russia. Why do you expect, which Russia is enemy?
No, I understand that. I understand that.
No,
but-
some people say that you're not the only one who's saying that, but are we ally? Is United States government accepted by the Armenian as Tashnagit's ally? Or we are ally with Russia? The Armenian government, I mean.
Yeah, we're more pro Russia.
Pro-Russia,
Mhm.
officially, right?
Yeah.
So how is it that U.S. is going to help?
Well, that could. I mean,
But, I mean-
I could answer that in 50 different ways. But I mean, I don't want to get into the politics of it.
Nor
but it's
do
not,
I. Nor do I. But
That-
I
yeah.
hear this time and again. But
Yeah, but if the same goes with the Azeris, you know, they're not pro America, they are also pro
Pro-Russia,
Russia.
they
So
are.
why is it that America is aiding them? You know, giving him what is it, some
no,
$300 million in
whatever.
aid and
random
cutting
number
down
that they
Armenia.
put
I mean,
up on the board.
well, after they made this agreement, Putin and Aliyev, see how things will change. See how things will change. They just recently made that treaty. Recently.
yeah. Well,
Anyway.
not to get off topic, but
I
a couple
rather
of
stick for what I know best.
a few comments.
Same.
Let's see here. We have some. Let's bring up this one. I don't know if this is Ara Manukyan saying, sadly, nearest relief was a tool used to depopulate Armenia. The alternative was the U.S. to allow Armenia to send 40,000 Armenian American veterans to World War I to support the Armenian army and Armenia, who was awarded independence of their lands. Interesting. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Politics, I'm not too...
Not your game.
No.
And we have Jiro Zakarian from Montreal. He says
Yeah,
thank you.
Jiro Zakarian was the lead guitar player in the band where I was playing the drum in
Oh,
Lebanon.
yeah?
Parev
Oh,
Jiro. Ողջույն.
Let's see.
Parevner.
More from Aramanugyan. We should not be grateful to the Americans. Sorry, but the real story and evidence is not that we think. All right. Well, something Ara needs to
Well,
maybe
I am
bring to us so we can learn
look,
about it. So
I cannot ignore the golden rule, what they did back in that time.
Yeah.
I cannot ignore that. I am. To the people of the United States, I am grateful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here.
Of course.
My grandmother
Was-
was a widow. My father was 9 years old. He became an orphan.
It goes the same way with, you know,
And
all of
thousands.
a lot of our parents, right?
Gyumri was known to be the city, orphan city.
Yeah.
Gyumri was named
I know.
orphan city.
I know that because my mom's told me stories when I was younger about that.
Yeah.
Well, we are past 2.5 hours. We've been live. Was there anything else we missed?
How did this time go?
I don't know
fast?
if it flies by. Well, when
You
you're
know,
talking with your stories,
Yeah,
it's,
you know, it feels. I was telling him earlier. I think the headphones were turned off before we started. Heratch can just talk, and it's like your uncle's story time. We just shut up and listen.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
basically what
Next
happens.
time we
It
go on
just
the
feels-
camping,
It seriously
we'll
feels
do
weird.
a bonfire. We sit down and talk.
Oh, yeah, please, let's
A
do
bonfire.
it. Let's
do this. Can we do it from a camping on the bonfire?
Time to get a generator.
Generator
Yeah,
and
let's
some
do it.
internet connection. That's
Yeah.
what we need. But
No, but seriously, it feels weird because sometimes you want to ask questions. I'm like, no,
You know,
I'm just gonna let him talk.
Yeah.
Last time Vahan Setyan was here,
Oh, yes, you did want to talk about
he
this.
made a request, man. I wanted to show that to Vahan Setyan, but I don't know. Let me see. Let me really fast if I can find it. The
Do you need it
Hitler
propped up
rug.
again? The
The
Hitler,
Hitler rug.
Do you want me to take it by the camera,
um,
or can he get that?
let me find first. I
Needs to
have it
find
on
it
my
first.
desktop.
um,
I have it on my desktop. I don't know how you're going to show it.
I'll take it up against the camera.
all right.
The Hitler rug.
Well, everyone, thank you again for joining us. Thank you for sticking around. We're almost 2 hours and 40 minutes. We appreciate it. We appreciate the audience that.
That's for Vahan Setyan. Here.
All right, let me change the camera. Yeah, raise it up a little bit. There we go.
There we go.
That
Ron,
is.
if you're watching.
There you go. That's the one, right?
That's
the one
the
you mentioned.
Armenian.
And the one
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Hittite swastika.
That's
That's for you, Vahan.
That's when you say Hitler rug. What's the story behind it?
Well, it is known to be. It was given that name. It was
I
given
get
that
it, but
name, but
but
there was
It's
a
not like
rug
he
like
had
this.
it.
No, no.
He had a rug very similar to this one.
Okay.
That was with him in the bunker when he was assassinated or blew.
He killed
himself,
himself.
whatever.
Yeah.
It was burned, but it was very identical to this rug.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's what.
Okay.
But the thing is about this post is this type of swastika is taken from Hittite Armenian Hittite
Yeah.
iconography
Yeah.
symbol.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Heratch, thank you so much for doing this again.
My pleasure.
Thank
It's
you
fun.
to Maggie. Where is she? Maggie, thank you so
Thank you,
much for
Maggie.
allowing us to be here.
Maggie, thank
And
you.
keep you all night.
And keep you up.
I hope you guys
Slates.
enjoyed the background here, this beautiful, scenery that
Come
we're
and visit.
sitting at.
If you're in the
Um,
Southern California area, come and visit.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff here. We wish we can kind of show you guys around, but no, it's better you guys just show
Yeah,
up and see it
Exactly.
yourselves.
You have to see it in person.
Yes.
You can go online.
Yeah.
It doesn't do
Ararat-
it justice.
Eskijian Museum, but it's not the same.
No.
No,
When you
no.
come
We want you
here-
guys to come here, but bring
It's-
your kids. Come
yeah,
here, educate
absolutely.
yourself, learn about our history. There's some amazing artifacts, like I said, going back all the way to the Urartu kingdom. And but again, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I want to mention that next week we'll be live with Georg Nazarian, and we'll be talking about the life of Andranik Ozanyan, actually Andranik
Andranik
Pasha.
Pasha.
That's what everybody knows him as,
That's
or
gonna be
popular.
That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. So again, next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Coast Standard Time. Make sure you join us live again. That will be we'll be in the studio, and he'll be in Armenia, so it won't be from here. But and then the following Thursday, Ara Papian will be in the studio with us, and again, we're going to be talking about the Wilsonian map and everything that surrounds that topic.
The
And-
arbitrary word.
Yeah. So, and then we have more guests coming up. We'll announce them in May. So, And stay tuned for next week's because we're going to be releasing our next
another piece
sculpture. Yeah. So again, guys, the sculptures will be available for Komitas later today for pre-orders. Go ahead and get that. That's pretty much it. Anything you want to mention?
No.
Heratch?
I always
Anything
love
coming up you want to
I
mention?
want to ask you
I always
guys
love
something.
listening to him.
I want to ask you guys something, each one of you.
Okay.
You have separate answers. If you take the time machine,
Oh my God.
I knew he was gonna do that.
that
Okay.
became your.
You're turning it on us. Okay, go
You
ahead.
you have to
I've
tell
already
me.
answered this.
You
once
answered
before, but-
once. Vic,
I've answered it too.
No, we both answered it.
Yeah.
We answered it the night before New Year's Eve.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to answer.
Yeah.
Ask you
Yeah,
that
we could
question.
talk about it if you want.
No, that's fine.
No, it's okay.
Well, I mean, you know, over the episodes that we've been
That's
doing.
becoming your trademark.
But-
That's what
yeah.
I wanted
Yeah,
to just throw it in.
Actually, I'm going to ask the audience if you had a time machine, which time
time
period.
period in Armenian
put it in
history would you like to go back
Yeah.
to?
Write it in the
see.
comments.
Write it in
Or-
the comments.
Yeah, or email it to us.
Or maybe we could post it on our Instagram and have everybody respond to it.
Yeah, there you
Why
go.
not?
I have another suggestion
Sure.
also. Why don't your audience, on the remarks, let them post what are their interests? Let us
Sure.
we'll find a speaker, we'll find an expert.
Yeah. There's
If they have
somebody for something,
requests.
guys. There's
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah,
for
yeah.
something. 100%.
Something
This is something that I've personally learned on this journey.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, the way things are going, we're booked. I mean, we're trying to do the you and I episodes, but we keep getting more guests, which is
I'm
great.
telling you,
but
one day we might have to double up every week.
Yeah, yeah.
might have to get
not
there.
enough time.
All right, guys, Maggie is tired. Let's wrap it up.
Was there up Maggie? Oh my God. All right. So again, thank you everyone. Appreciate it again, Heratch. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Anytime.
So as always, you know, end of the show, we say respect one another, love one another, and until the next episode, take care of yourselves.